Welcome back. Welcome, my dear. The Enemy by Pearl S. Buck. Explanation Part 3. So let me continue with the next paragraph. It was at this moment that both of them saw something black come out of the mist. It was a man. He was flung up out of the ocean, flung, it seemed, to his feet by a breaker. He staggered a few steps, his body outlined against the mist, his arms above his head. Then the curled mist hid him again. Staggered means walk unsteadily or as if you're about to fall. Before I start the explanation, let me explain what the difference between fog and mist. Fog is actually defined as obscurity in the surface layers of the atmosphere, which is caused by a suspension of water droplets. Fog is the name given to resulting visibility less than 1 kilometer, and mist is defined as when there is such obscurity and the associated visibility is equal to or exceeds 1000 meter. Like fog, mist is still the result of the suspension of water droplets, but simply at a lower density. Mist typically is quicker to dissipate and can rapidly disappear with even slight winds. It is also what you see when you can see or breathe on a cold day. So that is mist. And generally fog refers to visibility less than 180 meter. Okay, so let us start the explanation. That moment they saw a figure appear out of the mist. It appeared black in color due to the mist in the air. The outline of a man's body was visible in the mist. He walked unsteadily with his arms above the head. It was an indication that he was a prisoner. The man walked a few steps and then disappeared in the mist. Next paragraph. Who is that? Hannah cried. She dropped Sadao's arm and they both leaned over the railing of the veranda. Now they saw him again. The man was on his hands and knees, crawling. Then they saw him fall on his face and lie there. Lean means bent forward. And now explanation. Upon seeing the figure, Hannah reacted by asking that who was that? She took her arm out of Sadao's arm and both of them bent forward over the railing of the veranda to have a closer look at the man. They saw him again. He was crawling on his hands and knees. Then he fell on his face and kept on lying there. Probably he had been fainted. Next paragraph. A fisherman, perhaps, Sadao said, washed from his boat. He ran quickly down the steps, and behind him Hannah came, her wide sleeves flying. A mile or two away on either side, there were fishing villages But here was only the bare and lonely coast, dangerous with rocks. The surf beyond the beach was spiked with rocks. Somehow the man had managed to come through them. He must be badly torn. Spiked means covered with sharp points. And now explanation. As the area had villages full of fishermen, Sadao said that probably it was a fisherman who had been washed off his boat. He ran to help him. Hana followed him. The loose leaves of her howdah flew as she ran. This part of the coast was not inhabited, as it had dangerous rocks on it. As the rocks were pointed, the man could be badly injured, although he had managed to come through them. They saw when they came toward him that indeed it was so. The sand on one side of him had already a stain of red soaking through. Stain of red means blood stain. As the Japanese couple saw the man, they realized that he was badly injured. The sand on which he lay had blood stains on one side, which indicated that he was badly wounded. "He is wounded," Sadao exclaimed. He made haste to the man, who lay motionless, his face in the sand, an old cap stuck to his head, soaked with sea water. He was in wet rags of garments. Sadao stopped Hana at his side and turned the man's head. They saw the face. Hana whispered, "A white man." Now explanation of this paragraph. Sadao said that the man was wounded. He approached the man, who lay motionless, with his face buried in the sand. An old cap hung on his head. It was soaked with the sea water. His dress was also wet and torn. Sadao turned the man's head. As they saw the face, Hana spoke confidentially. Confidently, yes. As they saw the face, Hana spoke confidently that he was a white, that is, an American. Yes, it was a white man. The wet cap fell away and there was his wet yellow hair, long as though for many weeks it had not been cut, and upon his young and tortured face was a rough yellow beard. He was unconscious and knew nothing that they did for him. So the explanation is, the injured man was an American. As his cap fell off, they saw his wet yellow-colored hair, which had not been cut for a long time. He was young. His face had such marks which indicated that he had been tortured. He had a rough, unkempt yellow-colored beard. As he had fainted, he did not know of the presence of Sadao and Hana. So I hope you are getting everything, every line, and let me continue in the next video. Thank you for watching.